Welcome, everybody around the world, across Europe, in your living rooms, in your offices, on your phones, on the toilet, wherever you are. This is the final session today for the final set of semi-finals in the mixed division. We have GRUT taking on Flow, and it promises to be an exciting one. The Netherlands against Poland. One team with championship caliber, the other with championship aspirations, and a big shot downfield to open it up, and a phenomenal grab from Christoph Harris after Ort sets him up.
I mean, GRUT, right? I would be surprised if they came out and, you know, first point, they're just calmly working the unders. It would feel a little bit perverse almost, because we expect a certain style from GRUT. I think they expect it of themselves, and it gives that they get a little bit of extra energy and fire from playing in that particular style.
And we love to see it because it's always so entertaining for the feed. It would almost be concerning if you came out and if GRUT came out in the first point and just worked unders tirelessly, a lot of dump resets and some quick pops up the line, a few more unders, a swing, and then a quick quiet pass to the end zone for the score. That would probably disturb me more.
And the thing is, immediately it lets Flow know exactly what they're all about. It's like, okay, maybe GRUT have matured now. They've got a bigger roster. They've got some older, wiser heads on board. Maybe they, oh no, immediately jacked it. Okay, right, this kind of game. The question, the other thing as well is if you play big, expansive ultimate early, often it kind of goads your opponent into doing the same. Now, Flow, they can sling it with the best of them as well. So the question is whether this becomes a kind of an end-to-end shootout, or whether there is a bit more discretion about when they take their shots.
Nedzi sends it down. There's a big layout. They're going to be showing off no matter where they are on the pitch. Special gets it back into the middle to rescuing that possession.
The low release on that flick was ridiculous. It was pretty much on the floor when she released it.
And there's an unfortunate drop. Black putting that one just a bit behind his intended receiver, Special, who wasn't able to turn around and lay out for that one. So GRUT find themselves going in the opposite direction. And the big arcing fake. Shap's going to have to try and chase that one down, and does so. Quick pop in for the score to Monkau.
Yeah, what I liked is that he put his name on it nice and early. There wasn't any waiting about who's doing about, oh, yes, no, yes. And then that allows the defender to get in the way. Nice and clear, but maybe probably because in that situation, he's running towards the end zone, so he's already looking at where the next pass is developing, as opposed to a receiver running away from it, and you then have to offload it or then turn. So he's catching it, calls the receiver away. They do a very good job of clearing out as well. And then the simple pop in the end zone to Monkau. As you mentioned for the goal, good communication between Sharp and I believe it was Marchikulen who was the player coming underneath.
Yes, which was really smart as well, because you know you see in some of those situations two opposite trains on the same track colliding.
It's never pleasant.
So, Flow, Wrocław, 2 down. Not the ideal start, but they've got a lot of, should we say, flair?
There's a long way to go in this game, and certainly, yeah, they are a team that can thrive off the confidence in a big play in much the same way that GRUT can.
So hopefully we'll start to see the early signs of an absolute shootout.
I would not complain, I'll tell you that much, Lorcan.
I'm also very encouraged by how dirty some of those Flow jerseys are.
Oh, yeah. So a lot of basically the last round of games on most fields have been cancelled because otherwise they will just be destroying the pitches. And yeah, certainly when I saw Flow yesterday, they were throwing themselves about with, you know, with relative comfort. It's not a surprise to see that either they haven't washed their jerseys or they have, and they've picked up some more mud today. I'll be honest, if you're wearing a white jersey in this weather and you're not on an AstroTurf pitch and it stays white, you'd probably be a little bit suspicious.
Indeed. As they're starting to put the pressure on him, Lepak forced to dump it. And this zone from GRUT, initially it didn't seem to be doing much, but now they're really tightening it down. Blach.
GRUT playing zone feels a little bit weird because, especially offensively, they love to use that athleticism and that physicality. So defensively, the fact that they kind of ask teams to... what they're doing is they're trying to prevent teams from trying to GRUT, I think. You know what I mean?
I very much do. They don't want to let other teams get those high motivational, big enjoyable plays. Nedzi with the disc almost slipping.
They have got a player wide open out the back of this zone. If they could just have the confidence to put it, which they don't, everything's very congested and they get the turn.
Exactly what GRUT were looking for. Now can they punch it in? Big, wide, expansive squad, and they're trying to use every element of it. They get the shot straight away. Really well done into the hands of Ninka Muski.
Yeah, I believe it was Niels Boom, who, again, such a wonderful name to say.
A lot of fun.
Yes, but he doesn't even, like, he doesn't boom that one. It's just, there is a window. It's not hammered down there. It's not touched in there, but it's executed with the right degree of velocity through so that it kind of sticks into the clutches without being a real stinger, especially when it is cold and it is wet. They can really end up wringing your hand out afterwards. That one looked like a relatively comfortable disc to catch, even close to the sideline. Another break for GRUT, up 3-0. Flow, they've been rocked early here, I think.
I think they can still come back. I reckon they can fight their way through and fight their way out of it. What's happening right now is exactly what you were talking about. GRUT are trying to just dampen them, drown them almost in boring, easy passes and not allow them to catch fire themselves and start feeling themselves in that way that we've seen Flow get going time and time again throughout this tournament. One of the main reasons they're in this semi-final is because when they start firing, they tend to hit their targets. So GRUT now with another few new people coming out on the defensive end. I'm going to push this into a 4-0 lead. Big pull from Fuka. For my money, Shat might be the best puller in the mixed division right now. Most consistent. And a really unfortunate drop. Nedzi is so reliable, but in these conditions, you can understand that one just getting away from her. So now GRUT get it across. It's Aaron Morrison. Decides against sending it straight away. Gets it the second time to Dam. She just about collects it on the end zone line. Looking for options. Actually able to pop it back out to Valentin. And throws it in for Dam. That was a cheeky little curve cut right in the end zone.
One-on-one with Dam at the end of the end zone. I have seen more. I have seen less enviable. No, wait. It's an unenviable matchup. I'm trying to say that
you don't want to do it?
Yes, very much. I would not want to do it.
I wouldn't want to do it either. Lola Dam is near impossible to contain and so quick, but also, as you see there with that cut, so clever. Knows that if, based on reputation alone, the first two steps she takes, people will commit to it in that end zone, thinking she's going to one of the sidelines, just turns around, gets the comfortable score.
So, GRUT are 4-0 up. I don't think they've misplaced a pass. The fact that Flow have called a timeout here might be the least surprising decision in Ultimate, since everyone found out that Clapham were indeed going to come despite the quarantine period. Like, there was never any doubt that the timeout was going to be taken here. Never any doubt.
It's a big moment in the game because GRUT, they can go on runs, and if you let them, they'll just keep going to the final and you'll be looking at their backs the entire time. 4-0 is a fantastic start for the Dutch.
It's a bit of it's almost like GRUT have come beating them up and taking the lunch money.
Very fair. They're just coming out and they want to just stamp this down as quick as possible, maybe to try and get out of the rain, but it's really suffocating the kind of defense that they're playing on Wrocław. Again, that turn came out of an unfortunate drop. That's because every single move they make, they are under pressure. And
when you know that the pressure is there, even if you actually do a very good job of getting rid of the pressure, it's still kind of in the back of your mind. You're, maybe perhaps overthinking it a little bit, and that will give the opportunity for those drops to sneak into your game.
And it's a problem when you can't go off instinct. Wrocław, when they do get flowing, it's the instincts that they're playing with, the knowledge of each other. And it comes out like second nature. Right now, GRUT are making them think about everything.
And as soon as you start second-guessing yourself, you make the opposition's life so much easier. because then you're not, because then the opposition aren't just playing 7-on-7, they're almost playing 14-on-7.
You don't want to play yourself, as DJ Khaled let us all know in his important life lessons. And it's right in the back of the end zone for Flo. They're just dumping it about and really struggling to move it forward too much or in a substantial way. Special has to pop it back. And they're looking for breaks. There's so many bodies in front of them, so many appendages encroaching on their personal space, influencing their decisions. Just about able to get that curvy breakthrough. It was a very nice throw to open some stuff up, and for a moment I thought they were going to start going deep, which I would love to see. Bujak pops it back. And then a nice flowing pass. Smoothly along and taken in by Seplinska.
She did very well because that was coming at some pace. And the game that it started at being for Flo, it'd be so easy to let that slip through.
Black. Special.
A stoppage of some sort, perhaps a foul on the mark by Mossink on the far side. Yeah, 22 on his back, that's got to be Joram.
He's finally joined the GRUT alliance. Oh, that is a fantastic break throw all the way across and into the arms of Rabah Priblak. Pajak in the middle. This is much better from Flo. Starting to get a bit of that pizzazz with Pajak. Pops it in and in front of it, Lepak in back to Pajak. And they look like they're starting to feel themselves a little bit more here. The lefty backhand. They've got throws, they've got moves. It's just about having the confidence to follow them through. Big arky floaty pass. And the defense is there to tip it away. Jasper ten Haken closing that gap.
Didn't get a huge tip on it, but got just enough in these conditions to put it out of the back of the end zone, make it difficult enough to catch and adjust at such short notice. It's the problem with hanging it up there when you've got players like, well, like most of the GRUT roster. They are big and they are athletic, and they will steal in there and they will get those opportunities. And GRUT's going to take a timeout of their own here on their own end zone line with an opportunity to break for a 5-0 lead that would almost put this game to bed before it even got up.
Somebody's going to be sleeping in late if they can score this one. Niels Boom with a smart veteran decision. He recognizes the opportunity that they have here. It's going to be difficult to steal a significant run on GRUT as we have another look at this D.
Oh, it gets, yeah, a decent enough of a tip. And you can see perhaps that Kozak realizes that she's going to have to adjust. But when you're in midair, trying to make any adjustment is nigh on impossible. Your body just doesn't work that way. You have nothing to plant and contort off.
It's a tough situation to face. And I like that look because earlier on they were getting a bit more ambitious with some of those throws. The lefty backhands are coming in. That delicious high release over the top that really opened up the zone. The kind of stuff that you want to see from Flo, that kind of personality that they have coming out and coming to the fore. Right now, GRUT have done such a good job of suppressing it.
Yeah, it feels like we haven't seen Flo be Flo, partly because in a battle of strong personalities, maybe coming out on offense, GRUT had the chance to input theirs earlier. And then a couple of points down, you feel like perhaps you can't be yourself because maybe their natural style of play is a bit more expressive, a bit more expansive. You feel down 4-0, you can't play that way. You have to be more quote-unquote sensible. But actually, if you're not as comfortable doing that, kind of stay with what brought you to the dance, almost.
Yeah, get crazy. Keep it silly. But
keep it loose.
Keep it loose about the hoose. Boom. Takes the easy one inside.
Well, he tried to, but he just threw it behind, and the curse of the turnout strikes again. His first mistake all game from Chris, I think.
And an opportunity for Flo to get right back into this. Jacques. Special. Pops it up, big defensive effort, and boom. Swats that one away.
Well, making amends for that errant throw. off the timeout. And Mossink, he wants it all.
He's gone for it. Ten Haken can't quite corral the disc in between his hands. It's wet and slippery.
Yes, the rain is continuing to hammer down here. I am very, very glad that we are under a tent right now, Lorcan, I'll be honest.
It is a mercy indeed. And that's a nice little bit of play to get out of the zone. Initially they looked trapped, but Pajak starts to uncork one and launch it deep, testing this GRUT deep defense.
And they do have Kozak lurking out of the back, but the tricky thing is that if you're going to hang that up, Ten Haken's winning the height matchup there quite comfortably. So you're going to have to laser it. And in these conditions, lasering those hucks is it's difficult to get the real grip and the torque and revolution on it that you need.
There isn't a huge amount of wind, but the little bit that is influencing this game is coming at you in that position as well. So all of the elements are kind of aligning to make that disc hang rather than zip.
A couple of changes from an injury sub. Ort has replaced Ten Haken, and it looks like that Nedzi has replaced Maya Kozak for the poles. So I didn't see what the injury was, but both players using it as an opportunity to get some fresh legs on the field.
Ort centers it to Boom, who doesn't huck it, which is always a disappointment. Ort gets it again, pops it down the line, taken in by Bauer. Ort stretching for that one. He has Mossink. Boom. Going for almost a continuation, if that's... Nope, it's an uncontested foul. For a second, that would have been quite the spectacular hand block by Daniel Black.
Yeah, you can see that he's just, as he's leading across, he's kind of trapping that arm a little bit here. That's why the release point's very awkward. And smart move, wiping the disc while he's bringing it in, so he doesn't have to waste the stall count to do so.
Ort goes back to Bloom, and now they're starting to work these unders in a not too GRUT way. That's a fantastic switch by the defense, Special and Blach, recognizing what was going on.
Yeah, peeled it off nicely. What I like is when you recognize that and you can bounce back the other way as an offense, but the pick stops things there. It didn't affect the play because they tried to bring it in. Good violation hand signals being used by Flo. Actually, this sounds very nerdy. I think Flo are generally very good with hand signals, which makes me very happy.
Sometimes when the language barrier is there, it can be incredibly helpful. Ort looking for the dump. A lot of pressure coming in on the mark. Even more coming on the back of Mossink. Spreads back into the middle. Boom. And Ort still wants it, still calling for it. Sees Mossink, they're almost playing a bit of a three-person weave. Until eventually he's forced to laser it right at the toes of Els Boos.
I mean, I think he pretty much stubbed Elise Bo's toes for her there, and she's come off after a bit of an impact. I mean, he really lasers this to try and get it through the narrow window. And obviously when you're throwing it that hard, you don't necessarily have the control that you would like. I think, I mean, Ort's clearly frustrated with himself. Also, he looks cold. I don't know, I just think that, like, with those grey tights, they look a bit like proper, like, winter-style leg warmers to me.
Fair. And that could certainly factor into his play.
To be
He's
fair,
known for running hot.
I think I am saying that because I am also cold and I'm extrapolating what I'm feeling onto other people.
It's understandable, as is the frustration of Flo right now, as they're still looking to get their first point. This one really has dragged on. A lot of turnovers, a lot of back and forth. Nedzi. And you can see people just wiping the disc as they're playing. It's raining so much out there. Nedzi again, lots of pressure from the zone.
I'll tell you what, at this rate, their jerseys might be clean before the end of the contest.
There's the option for the big shot. Calling for it downfield is Zaplinka, or Zaplinska, and she collects it. That's the kind of stuff Flo need to do. That's what we've been talking about. Get a bit more ambitious, get a bit more out there. I
mean, Zaplinska's a phenomenal player, and you know, when she calls for it, you should have the confidence that if you can put it in the right spot, she is going to make the catch, and she did there.
Jacques. Again, they've just been forced backwards by the zone, losing a lot of those yards. And then looking for a big deep shot, sprinting after it, Nedzi. not able to get there in the end.
Because they've got such rangy, deep defenders, as we mentioned, you can't hang them up, so you've got to keep them flat. And again, that range means that you're trying to keep them really towards the sidelines, so that DPS has as less possible chance to get involved. But when you're going for the sidelines, you've just got so little margin for error that you really have to get them 100% pinpoint accurate.
Mossink. Back to Ort, who's just decided he's going to absolutely launch one all the way down there. Good contest, and that's really impressive cover by Special.
Yeah, interesting. They had some switched gender matchups there. Mossink was being marked by Nedzi, and then that meant that Special was dropping onto the deep receiver there. I think that's Janssen. And
Verl Janssen,
yeah,
new addition to the team of the Janssen clan.
Ort still, had the faith in the receiver, hucked it anyway.
It's a Janssen, I mean, come on.
That is true. But unfortunately, perhaps as well with the back of the end zone to worry about, you can't go up as high as you would like. And credit to Special because he covered the ground really well.
Showing that there's plenty of fight left in these Polish guys yet. They're going to have to find a way through this zone if they want to get anywhere. The back. And it's almost on every second possession they're drying the disc. It really is pocketing down there. Lepak gets it again. Zaplinska's ahead of him. The option. Another huge shot downfield, and Ort just reads it and takes it. You can see what Flo are trying to do, and GRUT are well aware of it as well. Mossink to Boom.
Was criminally underthrown almost.
There's a spicy little backhand from Boom to Mossink to Ort, and the three of them have been running the show on offense. Trying to get it to Moncau for the score. Just goes through her hands.
He's using almost that throw and go style technique there, even though he's not necessarily intending to get the disc back, obviously, because he's throwing it into the end zone. The idea is that rather than have a release point that's slightly further out, with that throw and go, he's getting it a lot further out and making it a lot more difficult for the mark to get around to block that. I realise that trying to illustrate that with body movements doesn't work so well in audio commentary.
But it will hopefully warm you up as Special looking to get a bit of fire into his belly as well. He's already got that one great layout play.
And he is, every time he gets the disc, he is desperately trying to wipe it clean.
Another big shot, and another one that Ort cleans up downfield. You can see what they're going for with the two cutters back there, but they might make more use of them working against that cup.
And if you've got two defenders, if you've got two receivers deep against Ort, that's inefficient because he's covering two players, when really, as if I'm playing downfield in a zone, I want to be covered by two people or no people. I don't want to have that. I don't want to have one of their players covering two of us.
Ort again, really, since he came on for the injury substitution, he's been running the show, but they haven't been able to get that final point in. Now finds itself with Bardot.
A little bit of a foul there, perhaps, as he tried to barge his way through ever so slightly.
Ort, and he just sits that one in the end zone. Moncau, I think Moncau with a fantastic layout.
There's a question about whether she kept hold of it. Everyone in that end zone seems happy enough that she did. It's now 5-0 to the lead. I mean, if Flo can't get into this soon, at what point does this become insurmountable against a team like GRUT?
That's a lovely little shot of Ort celebrating. It 5-0.
It does feel like it's already, it's not quite lights out yet, but you've certainly put the dimmer switch on.
We're moving to the evening menu.
Certainly, yeah. A little nightcap, perhaps. If you're GRUT, what I don't think you want to do is allow, just give Flo the sniff of coming back. I think it's still very much full steam ahead.
Well, in these conditions, it is the kind of thing that would lend itself to a comeback if Flo could just get rolling. There's going to be drops. There's going to be a lot more drops. There's going to be missed throws. They're going to have the opportunity for turns. It's just, can they start to find their feet? Find that ambition and that flair that we come to associate with them. So Lola Dam putting up the disc. Bijak. Just sends an arcing shot all the way down there for Special. And that's a lovely first score. Yep, first score for them. And that's the kind of stuff we want to see more of. Of course, a lot easier to do when they're just setting up and they try to go with a bit of a match defense look. There, Flo much more comfortable against it. So I imagine we're going to see a lot more zone.
Yeah, they just used the edge of the disc nicely because they faded it over towards the break side. And that's helping to take the defender out of the play a little bit there. You can see he's demonstrating that he wants the opportunity to put it deep. Special provides the cut. He does a very good job of reading this because he's craning his neck back desperately. It's a very awkward read. And no one scores 6 points in a row against Flo. Nobody.
You hear that, world? You dare not do it. Now Flo looking to make a bit of a comeback, maybe fight their way into this game. Zablinska with the disc getting ready to pull.
Here's the thing. They've only had 1-0 point, have GRUT. I mean, it was perfect. But, you know, maybe like after a little bit of a break, 15, 20 minutes or so, they're coming back into it a bit cold. Don't necessarily have those connections again because it is not warm on the sideline, so it can be difficult to keep the body really kind of running at full capacity. So sometimes, after you see a big, long break train like that, often once the hold finally comes, you do see one begin to come back the other way.
So that's what Flo will be hoping for. As they're going to throw on a zone. Blausman backing up Ort. And then further on from that, Anne Menard. Blausman. Menard unmarked in the middle and hits her. Janssen. A lovely scooper over the top.
You could see him think about it, weigh it up, like the mental cogs turning in his head. And eventually he ran the numbers and decided it was totally worth it. And he wasn't wrong.
And Menard, Ort. This is nice, patient offense, taking their time. We've been singing the praise of Menard before on the stream. Just working along with Blausman and Ort.
What I love about Menard is that after she gets the disc off, she's not just waiting for it to come back her way. She's on the move, so she's dragging defenders out of position. You know, she's being aggressive to try and get the disc back in a power position. Constantly trying to engage and give the front line of that Flo defense something to think about.
Blausman. And that's a lovely quick pop and score. Janssen being the missing link in the connection and getting it to Ort. 6-1. So another flawless hold.
Yeah, this is ominous, I would say, for Flo. Pretty ominous. You know, the wind is pushing the rain a little bit more horizontally, so it's a bit more in your face. It's coming down stronger. This is a real test of your mental fortitude, Lorcan. A real test if you're a Flo player, because obviously this is what you come to play for, the chance to be in a European final. Now, at the best, it's a final that they're not incapable of winning either. But obviously, now you're in a semi-final against one of the other hot favourites, who look perhaps even better than they ever have. They're 6-1 up in this game. Last game of the day. It's pouring with rain. I mean, how do you find it within you sometimes?
It's the great question that is going to be asked of every single player today and tomorrow, as these conditions are really going to take their toll on the few games we have left. A lot of them have been called off for the sake of the pitches, so it's mostly just eliminations and finals.
I think at this stage it is just the semi-finals and the finals to play.
And Special hanging that one up. It's dropping quickly, but again, they've had a bit of joy with the deep shots. Daniel Block is quite a good receiver.
Just not the accuracy. You know, what you want to do is give your receiver a chance to make a play. That's why he's floating it up there. The problem is if it's going out the sideline, that opportunity is not there.
And that one goes over the top again. So it's showing you just how hard it is to actually play from the left to the right. It's getting harder with each passing second.
You can really see the wind tip back on that one.
And eventually they get it back to Krutlinski. And Flo. Nedji. Special. He has Black. He sees him in the far corner. This one seems a lot more accurate. What a catch. A phenomenal play. Is he going to be in bounds?
It's tricky because what we're looking at is the white line for the football pitch. Also, it's not the white line of the end zone. And I think he's looked at it and he's seen that he's not in bounds, which is a real shame because he could not really have done the layout any better. He could not have done any more. And it feels like, especially when the game's going as it is, that really deserved a catch. Oh, wow, what fast hands there from GRUT.
Oh, and it seems like Special might have just clipped Boom on his way through. So you have another look. Special came so close to getting that.
Yeah, I feel maybe as he's kind of taking a bit of the impact, he's kind of getting his studs caught in the ground a little bit and maybe just jarring that ankle slightly. He's walking off under his own power, which is always a good sign. So hopefully it's a little, just kind of stretch it off, have a throw, see if you're comfortable putting weight on it, and hopefully get back out there.
Bit of an involuntary twist as Ort slips on the hook. They're going to call travel. Still needs to be collected though. And downfield a battle. Kralinski comes out on top.
I mean, it is very, very difficult to keep your footing. Both on the grass fields where it's kind of muddy and it's slick, but here on the AstroTurf as well, it's a similar situation because you can't. I nearly said scenario. Because you can't necessarily wear the longer studs that you would on the other surface. You have to kind of keep wearing the AstroTurf style boots.
That is a big shot. Really well done. Going for the greatest, but unfortunately not able to collect it. That was a sensational play. Or certainly a sensational attempt by Pajak.
I mean, just the field sense to know that you have to go for the greatest.
So Nedzi puts up the bladey flick. She's got plenty of throws in her arsenal. Oh, his foot was down, so it wouldn't have counted anyway.
Still made an incredible fist of it regardless.
And now GRUT must go up into the elements to try and get the 7th score. Really great defensive play. Nedzi screaming in and knocking that one down. Natalia Nedzi is putting everything she has out there, and I suppose it's a good way to stay warm. Special gets it around to Pajak. He tries to find Lipak in the far corner. That's a great throw and a catch. 6-2.
See, Flo have the shots too. They just haven't had the connections. They haven't had the chemistry, the synergy that they need. And part of that is the conditions, yes, but part of that as well is the pressure that GRUT are putting on. They're on the shoulder of all the underpasses. You know, they're getting the force on quickly. There's no easy, free opportunity to get a quick huck out there.
So a bit of nice moving it around and shooting to the end zone. But I do get the feeling that we're going to see most of the scores left to come in this game happening on the left hand of our screen.
Certainly feels like at the moment that's the easier end zone to score in, although still plenty of time left in this game. And there is plenty of time for the conditions to change, hopefully for the better, although given the way it's gone so far this weekend here in Bruges, I think I can probably estimate which way it is more likely to go. So this is interesting in the chat from Peter van Sprang. So that apparently these GRUT shirts are not their kind of original jersey designs. It explains why they're just wearing plain blue shorts and the kits are very basic. Because the shirt order was delayed in shipping, which I think is something that's quite common at the moment. So they're wearing these backup jerseys instead, which actually I think are very fetching.
There's Janssen. They're nice. They're very simple.
Yeah, they're clean.
Bright, bold colors, yeah.
Clean is what I would say.
Big high release backhand. Just about works out for Ortiz. They're getting the flow going nice and quick. Across the pitch, Janssen back to Blausman. Shoots for a corner and collected for the score. That was fairly comfortable for GRUT to go 7-2 up.
There are a couple of slightly sticky situations on this near sideline, but phenomenal footwork there from Walt Janssen. I mean, a little bit of, not just one, but 2 instances of some toe drag swag.
Ben Ort just feels so comfortable throwing to Janssen at this point.
I mean, it's not a surprise because they've been doing that for literal, I was going to say, it's probably decades at this point.
Not that they have a lot of decades to go between them, but yeah, you're definitely right. There's another look at that fantastic grab by Black that was unfortunately out of bounds.
I think it's the right hand that lands first, and that evidently is out of bounds. We're seeing highlights from the last couple of points here.
Nedzi got that run through D, Special. Just looking for options. Was able to get it around to Bijak and then there was launch this one.
Yeah, beautiful roll curve shape on it. No, absolutely fine.
Perfect.
It's lovely when you see a throw like that and you both were like, yes. It really, like, it's fun to talk about throws like that. What footwork that is by Janssen. I definitely undersold it at the time.
Back to the action.
Apologies, Walt.
As Flo managed to find the way onto the scoreboard. And are hoping to keep doing it. Special. Nedzi.
I mean, you can see on cam 1 exactly how heavy the rain is coming down now.
Like the Nedzi again. The Special just in front of her. And this is still that zone that GRUT have been playing. Oh no, they're really just doing match defense, but poaching into the open lane to try and make those easy throws a little bit harder. Lepac gets it to Special. And he just hangs one up there, waiting for it, and it gets another fantastic grab by Black. Will he be inbounds for this one? No, that is so unfortunate.
And the way he's kind of diving at it to scoop it up, it also it takes the greatest off the table as well. But again, you're seeing the athleticism of these Flow players. They're displaying it, but it's not necessarily the opportunity to use that and convert that into a score.
So 7-2, Morrison with the disc and gets it off to Valentin. They're going to hope to punch this in and take half in a commanding fashion and see themselves into another final, hopefully reclaim their title.
The score should be 7-2, by the way, on the scoreboard, 7-2.
As you see a little bit of discussion. You might have heard a little bit of discussion there between Benji and our production crew, who've done such a fantastic job all day in these conditions.
Yeah, sometimes the wet weather gets into the scoreboard and it prevents it from kind of there's a little hamster in a wheel there, and he gets soggy, he doesn't like rolling it over. But it should be 7-2. We'll try and get that updated as soon as we can. There we go. See, just got to coax the hamster into life.
Morrison gets it back to Valentin.
Oh, that was dicey. Nearly invited the Callahan.
Oh, and they almost get another one. So Flo really starting to find a bit of fire, put pressure on, and Fuka wants nothing to do with that. Stop nearly throwing Callahan's. Let me get rid of it. Dam's underneath it. I still fancy her to get it. Oh, what a grab, plucked off the ground and out of the clutches of gravity by Wilhelm.
Love that she followed it all the way there and saw everyone get underneath it. Knew that there was a chance that on a tip, maybe a bit of Mac line practice, could scoop it up before it hit the turf. Brilliantly read, brilliantly executed.
Dam with the disc, front of the end zone. This could be the first score we've seen in this end zone for quite some time. Effectively an upwind, and comfortably a score for Dam.
Yeah, the lovely high release over the mark from Marchikulan gives them no chance. And, well, that was a dominant first half from GRUT. Feels like their final berth may already be sewn up, taking it 8-2 in the end. That is some scoreline against a Flow side that are a lot better than I think they've shown so far in this game.
GRUT came out really aggressive at the start, and the combination of that and the weather made it incredibly difficult for Flow to get anything going. You've seen little glimpses of how good they are. Nedzi, those two grabs by Block, they were just out of bounds. Nedzi's throws and coming under D. Special is throwing himself about a little bit as well. So we're going to just quickly let you know how you can help us keep the good times going here on ULTI.TV with our Patreon and a commercial. And then we'll be right back with the second half and more top quality Ultimate.
We are a group of Ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work
work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
Welcome back to the final game on the penultimate day of EUCF 2021. We are facing the joy of Ultimate in the Rain in Belgium, otherwise known as Ultimate. GRUT took a commanding 8-2 lead starting on offense and just rolling to 5-0 before Flow started to find themselves a little bit of adventurous throws, a couple of good shots, some fantastic grabs, not all of them in bounds. And it's 8-2 coming into the second half with a chance with Flow starting on offense and the wind at their backs. It's not exactly a friendly wind, but better be on the right side of the devil than in his way. As Coulert winds up and unleashes a pull. So here come Flow. Special picks it up. Again, it is a match defense, but with that poach into the open channel, just make it harder to get any real significant gains. And then they snap down to you so quickly once you catch the disc. Blach thinks about the deep, gets them all to jump in the wrong direction. And a battle between Coulert and Kaplinska. Kaplinska chased it down. Great boxing out and a wonderful score, 8-3.
Kaplinska's so good, and it's a real shame that she hasn't had necessarily an opportunity to show it more often. You can see why GRUT are coming down with zone, because they want to force Flow to make as many of these short passes as possible in these, well, I don't think treacherous conditions quite covers it, because I think treacherous implies that there is some sort of foul, there is some sort of potential that they could be nice. These are just thoroughly inhospitable, and this is lash deep. Czaplinska against Coulert is a box office matchup, and Czaplinska wins that battle at the back of the end zone. Quite rightly pumped as all hell, and Fleur just goes spinning over the pole at the back, but it seems like she is all okay. So that's nice to see as well.
Really nice touch the way they've got a bunch of airbeds sellotaped to the goalposts. I've seen a fair few people smash off them over the course of this tournament.
Have you? Well, it's a good job they had those in place.
I don't know if it's a matter of if you'd avoid it if they weren't there, and people are just like, I might as well just jump into this soft thing to slow me down.
Yeah. Here's the thing, I think a lot of the time, if you're running at full speed, even if you see it coming, and you try and slow down, sometimes there ain't no stopping.
As that one goes out of bounds. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the way to the final. It certainly looks like GRUT are on their way to the final. Flow knew they had a big task ahead of them. A rough start to the game. They're trying to fight their way back into it. That was some really nice looking offense they had on the previous point.
Yeah, good start to the second half.
So now they need to get some breaks, and they're coming out with a zone of their own.
Normally in this weather, someone fakes a hammer. I don't know if I'd respect it. Ben Orr fakes a hammer, or most handers fake a hammer in this weather. Yeah, I'd probably bite.
You probably should, really.
That's why.
Yep. Fantastic shot. And then the quick pop into an uprunning Minald. Says no to the first option, goes back to Ort. Keeping it simple for now, Menard. And Ort goes for the big long break, slightly too far ahead of is that Janssen?
It is Janssen. Just couldn't quite get his feet set properly. He's laying out maybe half a step earlier than he wants to in reality. Yeah, Ort's being aggressive there, but maybe if he kind of, I don't know what the high stall is. Maybe there are better options. You can see he wants to get one step further before that layout. But a good opportunity for Flow to get their first break of the game here early in the second half.
And immediately they look deep themselves with the cuts. But it's set up to reset back into the middle. Urbanik.
The wind's beginning to whip our tent a little bit more now as well.
And that floaty pass is quickly gobbled up by Harris. Kept his head on a swivel and was ready. Glurtz, Ort, Janssen. Now they're looking to just run some end zone sets and get it comfortably into it. That's some nice defense initially. I think Urbanik on Ort. But there's so many threats on this GRUT line. Janssen pops it to Ort. And then shoots it to the end zone, but just outside of the outstretched fingers of Janssen.
Fine margins in the red zone, so you have to fire things into small windows. But that one, just too much venom behind it. Ort and Janssen slap hands. Just going to get back to it on defense, I guess.
Not used to seeing them have this many miscommunications.
But then also, in these conditions, you know, the slightest miscommunication is magnified exponentially.
And that's a rather unfortunate D. I don't think the receiver was particularly aware of it, but as a stat, it'll go to Harris.
Pretty sure it wasn't the intentional target anyway, and Harris, I don't know if he even ever saw the disc, and they isolated a player at the front of the end zone, and it was the plant to come back inside. Alt thought it was going.
And some miscommunications creeping into both sides, so Flo have an opportunity to strike, and it work back at it. This is Urbanik with the disc.
Loved that active mark. Oh, it's a Callahan!
Fantastic work by Kulurtz. I think there's going to be a strip perhaps called.
Or maybe she wasn't in. I'm not sure. Certainly where she's ended up now is clearly in the end zone, but...
Have another look.
I was about to say that I really loved how active Janssen was on the mark, because it forced him to go inside. And now Kulurtz. Whoa. I tell you what, and I kind of err on the side of caution. I think she got that. I know that simultaneous possession is a tie, goes to the offense. I think she got it first.
I think she stole that, yeah. I think she snuck in and nicked that one away.
They agree, but they don't think she's in the end zone just yet. So on the doorstep, Kulurtz and Ort. No, yes, our little push pass.
Very nicely done.
Hey, I just realised that I completely cut into your space there, Lorcan. My apologies. Totally forgot what I was doing. Just getting very excited by a near Callahan. And hey, who doesn't love a push pass?
Push passes are a simple man's delight, and that's what we are here in these booths. Simple men. It's a fantastic utility throw, and for an assist, even better.
The thing is, in that short space, like trying to get enough torque and revolutions on a flick, especially in these conditions, to go that short a distance is difficult. If you want to go for the offhand backhand, you've got to change your grip. Again, changing hands can be difficult. So if you can just roll it across the outside with a little push pass, not a bad idea. Wow, those are some very brave Dutch-Belgian lowland fans watching in the rain. Certainly braver than I. I'm very glad we're in the tent, because it is suboptimal viewing conditions, I think.
For us who are here at the pitches, but
yes. Oh,
prime up viewing conditions for everybody at home in your warm, safe, dry, dry houses.
I think you forgot warm and dry.
Oh man, I think I have forgotten what it is to be warm and dry.
In your comfy beds, with your snacks.
Maybe drinking hot chocolate. Enjoying top quality Ultimate, brought to you from Bruges, xEUCF 2021.
Don't worry, we can go and have a Bruges after this.
Lepak gets it back to Nidji. Krotlinski, Netzi, and that one just a little bit in the wrong direction on those short spaces. That's all it takes for it to be a turnover. Mossink, boom. Keep giving that guy an extra L for no reason. Boom. Tries to get it back around. It's really good active marking from Block, but in the end, constant movement, and they get the score to Yet Bardwell.
Yeah, on the high stall, you've got to try and find a way to get a receiver make a play, and then spies the face mark, and that is all they need, because you can get the throw out to space, and by the time the defender turns and sees it, a lot of the time the disc is already gone. You mentioned that brilliant mark there from Bois. He's doing a phenomenal job. He's so active. He's on the balls of his feet, springing around, tries to stop the reset, and then towards the back corner, isolates the face-marking defender. I believe that is Raba. I'm going to butcher this. I'm trying my best. Raba Sibilak. I appreciate that's probably wrong, so my apologies. But just spies the face mark, curls it beyond before she knows what's up. And that'll be, what, 10-3 now, I think, to GRUT. It's been a pretty dominant performance so far. They've just dealt with the conditions a lot better. Feels like they've had the confidence to play their game, and the confidence in that has maybe just dissuaded Flow from doing the same with theirs.
We send out a quick prayer to the production tent. Black, even. Sorry, I'm really appreciating this help from Jan in the comment section.
Yeah, it's like the L with the line through. I know there probably is a special name for that character, so apologies, but it's like a W.
So
like
Black.
Like Wrocław.
So Daniel Black with the disc. Well, not anymore. Nidzi with the disc now. Getting it across. Black again. They filter through. It is coming down very, very heavily, and so are Flow rushing down this pitch. Eager, hungry. Black just pops it in, and that was a relatively easy score to finish it off.
It was so nonchalant that it almost belied the fact that it was, you know, semi-finals of xEUCF, but such is the condition of the game when they're now 6 points down even with that score. And you can really see on the cams just how heavy this rain is. I mean, it is battering everyone in attendance.
Torrential might be the way to go for it. Monsoon season here in early October in Belgium. I love that little jump in. That was so casual.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it great? Also, thanks to 5T757 on the YouTube chat, saying that some of the Lowland fans, they are indeed actually Dutch. They have travelled from the Netherlands to cheer on, I think it's Nienke Muske, another name I probably failed to pronounce. But yes, I love the support.
It's been fantastic.
In the same way when Gentle were playing in the semi-final earlier today as well, they had a big sideline. Certainly that kind of Benelux solidarity, I think. I imagine were they to make the finals, GRUT would be a very popular choice with a lot of the locals in attendance.
With a lot of the locals, but I think it's a 50-50 situation, them going up against Salaspils.
Well, or Putti.
Or Putti.
Do you want to know what's happening in that game at the moment?
Once we resolve this shot from Blausman all the way down to Janssen. No, really great defensive effort, stepping in, and Urbanik getting the block. Very impressive. So now Flo have an opportunity to go back down the pitch.
Well, our other streamed field on the other pitch, Field 3, which you can watch live for free on ULTI.TV's YouTube channel. It says 7-7, but I believe that's not the actual scoreboard because they're getting rain in it over there as well.
Payak gets the nil block, has the disc, and that's a bit of a floaty one to Urbanik. He's able to chase it down, get it under control. And Payak, they're burning deep. It doesn't quite have the float to get onto the end of it, and I don't think that came back in. That is going to go a long way back. Really impressive cut by Payak.
Yeah, circled around Rob, who's standing in the rain on camera too. Chips on camera on, who is also getting a bit of a battering. Got that nicely in shot. Put a coat on, Felix. You'll catch a death of cold. What are you doing? Sorry, I'm worried about our camera crew.
As you should be. I'm worried about our camera's intent. Things are starting to get really pulled apart.
Yeah, it's
interesting times, shall we say?
It's not quite biblical rain, but certainly some old story.
Ort goes for the quick shot into the front corner of the end zone, and they secure it for 11-4.
I mean, that is... How many times have we seen that over the years? First pass, Ort finds Coulart, but front of the end zone, wham, bam. Thank you very much, ma'am. 11-4 now the score, and GRUT 4 points away from a finals berth, and do you get the feeling a little bit that perhaps maybe both sides would like this to be over relatively quickly because the rain is awful. I mean, I hate to keep going on about it, but you can see it on the camera there that everyone is just trying desperately to stay warm and as dry as possible. They are fighting a losing battle, and if you're Flow, obviously, you know, you want to win the game, but at this point, it must be so hard to find the mental strength. But then, of course, that is why I am in here, in the 10, and they are out there in the semi-final of Euros.
The mental strength it takes to get to the semi-finals of Euros itself is a fairly ginormous achievement.
Huge shout out to our volunteers over in the tent on the far side doing the scorekeeping for us. Volunteering is a thankless task, but they are trying to keep themselves hyped up and warm and engaged. Hey, the tournaments like this doesn't run without the volunteers. Looks like they may have got a nice little dance party going on, delicately blowing his whistle to keep the time.
Whatever you need to help get you through.
What do we want? 3 whistles.
Flo sitting under the disc. I think that might be Spekial. He centers it. Wapak. And they're just, again, throwing it back and forth in and around the end zone. Kalinski trying to get involved, wants to get it to Wapak. That's it, Nedzi. Kalinski, Nedzi. That's a nice little bit of give and go between the two of them. And a quick pop.
But GRUT don't mind this because it's not really energizing them and it's forcing them to make lots of passes.
One of them being rather influential. Bwak to Pawak. Really well done. Or Payak, sorry.
Wapak. 30.
Oh, sorry, Wapak, you're right.
Yeah,
it was
32 rather than 42.
But a great throw from Bwak, just taking it on himself.
Yeah, I think because they're playing the kind of the give-go gauntlet style offense, they're just ever so slightly baiting those defenders to come in a little bit shorter, a bit closer. And he reads that opportunity brilliantly to send one over the top to Wapak. And defender closing, but he's comfortable. He jumps it in for the goal. 11-5, but they've still got a huge amount of work to do here, Locken. Huge amount of work.
Well, you better bring your shovel if you want to go to work, and they've started digging with a fantastic shot to that end zone. We're starting to see scores more frequently in that end zone as well. The wind, just a gentle breeze. The rain still very violent. And Flo gearing up, just a nice little shot of the scenery to let you know what we're all experiencing. Van Oort swings inside to Janssen. Janssen has it. And gets a lovely break to Oort. Not an easy throw. Not a whole lot of hang on that, but just enough for Blausman to chase it down. It was perfect in the end. Slight bit of an angel's kiss to give it the boost so Blausman can catch it in stride rather than having to bid.
I mean, you can see how hard Oort had to really rip and wrench that throw to fight against the conditions, because he's got to work so hard to generate the spin to get through it, to power his way through a little bit of a wind as well. And it's a real effort. Floodlights glistening off the disc.
I think you really hit the nail on the head when you were talking about how it's so difficult to get any torque on a disc when it's that wet. And that is so crucial to flight. So along with the fact that you're not getting as much spin as you normally like to, which means it's not going to fly as well, it's also getting hit a good 100 times from the top while it's going through the air. And this rain is coming down heavy. So very well controlled. 12-5 to GRUT. 3 points away from another chance in the final. How are things going in the other semi-final?
Well, it's tight. It's very tight. There is nothing to choose between the teams at 8 apiece.
So Salaspil's the reigning European champions taking on Puti, who are an established power with a lot of veterans in their side coming out of Finland. And while you imagine it will be GRUT waiting for them in the final, nothing is written in stone yet. And Flo are looking to cause a bit of a disruption. Nidja gets it into the middle. Wapak, and there's an unfortunate drop. Valentin picks it up quickly. Arcs one all the way around, and Dam is there, but can't get down low enough or quick enough. That was always dropping out of the sky. It asked an awful lot of the receiver. Nidza, or Nedzi, sorry. Wapak getting it across. Robel.
Lovely low release.
Wow. And Bwak, who had a beautiful hook earlier on, sends up another one. A really good offensive effort, but fantastic defensive pressure to take away the perfect angle at the disc. It's a tough one. Maya Kozak, really effective cutter. hasn't really had been able to get involved too much because of these conditions. And just the difficulty in getting quality service to her. Valentin's chasing that down. He's even go as far as to milk it a little bit. Nidzi tried to come for the poach. There's the throw, comfortably collected for the score. Suzanne Slaab makes it 13-5.
Just 2 points away from a finals berth now, GRUT. And you have to say that they have earned it, and they've showed why in this game. Just look a class above a flow side that I've really been impressed with this week. You could see the progression through various tournaments, going up and up the European ladder. This certainly will not be the last semi-finals berth for them as a program, even if, you know, gold medal looks like it is beyond them this year. A very cold and wet Ali Thomas has come to shelter in the booth now. Oh, lozenges. Oh, hell yes. I've not heard a better word all day than lozenges, which I think tells you a lot about what the weather is doing like now. Have we mentioned the weather's really bad?
I don't think we have. We should talk about it more.
The weather's pretty bad.
It's not great. But the Ultimate all day has been fantastic. We've seen so much of it, and we've got just a little bit more left to show you. The incredibly tight semi-final happening on the other stream. Right now, GRUT looking to put in 2 more points so they can get back to the final and try and get their title back. Whether or not Salaspils will be there to defend it remains to be seen. And then, of course, tomorrow we have that mixed final. You also have the women's final and the open final, the contents of which was already decided earlier on. Clapham against Gusp, as Clapham look to reclaim.
Did you try like a Dutch Gusp?
I did, yeah. Just
I know, I like it.
Brain is starting to fall apart a little bit, I fear. Got a bit of the old wet brain. Kotlinski? No, Kotlinski. Shoots down, but it's well collected, and waiting for it was Jasper ten Henken.
Just quickly turned back, though, it seems. Maybe there was a bit of contact, but turnover seems to stand, agreeing that it was incidental.
I was just about to start complimenting ten Henken on his defensive powers and how impressive he seems in the air. I have to wait for another day for that, I imagine. Nedzi gets it back to Special.
Really good low catch, that one.
Special floats it into the middle. Krotlinski. And this is a nice little bit of pivoting by Vrobel. He had Nedzi in front of him, instead goes to the sideline. If they could locate Nedzi in the middle, unmarked for the most part. Vrobel. Spegial. Krotlinski, Vrobel behind him, Krotlinski in front. Instead, that's a great undercut. Wianowska floats it back. A lot of patience by Vrobel to just sit under that. Spegial.
Well, he had his head up so he could see that there was no one there applying instant pressure, so he just took a little bit more time over it. Off the fingers
of Nedzi, an unfortunate drop, but that's going to happen with those cold cuticles. And then she gets it right back, warming up and pulling that disc down. So Flo, still with possession, looking to get their way back down the pitch. Vrobel. Yeah, can you move the plastic bag back over the top line? Spegial, pinned back in his own end zone line. Not a whole lot of movement coming in the backfield. Nedzi tries to get to that one. It was always going to be tough to bring in.
And rather than Czaplinska almost coming back to catch it, that just almost caught her afterwards.
Ten Haken. That's a turn. Fantastic stuff by Spegial.
It is indeed a turn.
The run-through block knocking it. I thought there might have been a strip call, but it was clean. And then Spegial's stick of this running around on the end zone line. Goes deep. It was a great throw.
I have no doubt that in dry conditions that catch is sticking every time. But obviously, we are not playing in dry conditions, as we may have mentioned. And it just seems like it won't go your way sometimes. And going to take the timeout with everything getting a little bit more frenetic and frantic.
Understandable in the situation. As we're going to take a little bit of a breather ourselves. Take stock of everything that we've seen over the last 3 days. The return to European Ultimate has been a fantastic one.
Hasn't it just?
3 full days of top quality Ultimate. The weather might be terrible right now, but for the most part it was relatively understanding.
It's been good enough for us to get away with it, I think, until now. We may have mentioned that there are no other games going on at the moment, with the exception of the other mixed semi-final currently taking place on Field 3 between Puti of Finland and Latvia's Salaspils, with that now just tied up at 9 goals apiece. That one in the Obviously, it's being played on real grass rather than the AstroTurf, so you can very much imagine what sort of effect the mud and the rain is having over there. This is, I'll tell you what, this is a far cry away from where I was earlier in the week.
And where were you earlier in the week as we have another look at the great layout grab from Moncau earlier in the game. Nord celebrating. That's a fantastic shot.
So most of our crew over here on field 2, so that's the camera crew, Rob, Chips, Felix, Milan, who's over on field 1, and Ali, who is still lurking in the booth behind us, have come straight from the World Great Grandmasters Beach Ultimate Club Championships in Villa Simius on the southeast coast of Sardinia, off the mainland of Italy. And yeah, there it was kind of 30 degrees all day.
And we're coming back in the rainy Belgian evening.
Gotta love it.
Ten Haken couldn't find somebody with that disc. So now Flo down the pitch and with an opportunity to get another score. Nedzi slowly walking, going to pick it up, directing traffic where she wants her cutters to go.
Curse of the turnout strikes again, by the way.
Special puts a huge arcing flick. So much vision to get that to Vrobel.
Oh, that's lovely. That is lovely.
Are they going to be able to get it into the end zone? They're going side to side fine, but they need to head deeper into enemy territory. Vrobel. This zone has been a real terror for the Flow offense. That's a lovely backhand over the top. Crafty break. And a shot around. Huge bid, but a better catch. Fantastic stuff. I'm assuming that's Special because that's the kind of play he makes.
You are indeed bang on the money there, Lorcan. Special play from Special. I'm surprised we haven't done that more often this game.
Well, he's a special player.
He is indeed 13-6, but it is probably too much to come back into this game.
With the way that the offense has looked.
And with the, you know, I mean, inclement weather doesn't quite do it. That is some catch as well. Just so well not to ground strip himself. So well not to ground strip himself.
Very hard not to ground slip yourself when you go with the clap
hard.
catch. Yeah. Really impressive. And you see these glimpses of the quality Flow have. It's unfortunate. I really think it was all down to that suffocating zone that GRUT put on early and just got in their heads, got out to that 5-0 lead. And since then, Flow have struggled. They've had, like you said, fits and starts of greatness every now and again, showing what they're doing in the semi-final and why they belong to be here. But so much pressure from GRUT, from the moment, and from the elements, and it's just all been a bit tough for them. Adam Mashajewski. Or picks it up and immediately lashes it deep. Plenty of flow. For some reason, Jansen's unmarked.
Well, he was unmarked until Mashevsky came in and knocked it away. You can't see it because he's got that snood over his head, but he has a very distinctive blue hairstyle.
So Majewski, I think that's going to come back as a strip.
Yeah, you can see that Mashevsky actually does have the blue hair, and you are right. It does look like Jansen has it before he gets underneath and knocks it away, and it is indeed uncontested.
And there's just the quick pop into the end zone for the score. Coulertz picks up another one, 14-6. And you imagine we're entering the final stages of this game now.
Game point. If they don't get it in here, don't worry, they'll have plenty more. It just hasn't come off today for Flo. It came out strong, and in weather like this, it's just the mental energy required to stage a comeback. It just seems so much more than it would be in dry conditions because everything hurts, everything's cold, everything's wet. Just trying to get energized is such a tougher task.
Christoph Harris, who got the assist there, has had quite an impressive performance. Got a few Ds, really announcing himself on the GRUT squad. And Flo have had some really great plays, some really impressive players. Wapak and Payak both running the show along with Nedzi in the handling position, doing quite well.
A bit more pronunciation guide from the chat. So that, you know, the A with a little thing under it is like a French on. So it's like Payonk.
Oh, Payonk. Well, there we go. Wapak and Payonk.
That name rings a bell. Do we commentate on maybe him at EYUC or something?
I have a feeling we did, because I'm also quite familiar with Darius Ubranik.
Low pool, wow. Brave to catch that one in this weather.
Well, this team is brave. Robel. It's back into Krotlinski. Krotlinski. Boach. And that's a lovely high release break. Spekyal collects, and Boach wants it. Spekyal just shakes him off. Wouldn't mind seeing a bit of a risky shot there. Vrobel, Nedzi. And a big arcing shot all the way to the end zone. Battles underneath. Well read by Nedzi. Or not so well read by Nedzi, getting sucked in by the defender.
Yeah,
I was just saying the opposite of what I mean to say at this point.
A long day and the wind and the rain will do that to you. But yeah, I knew what you meant. Sakata underneath the disc, and there was a defender there coming back to clean up the trash just in case.
So the timeout called, as GRUT hoping to finish it all here with one last offensive showing. You can see all the people just throwing on rain jackets as quickly as they can. I imagine they want to get this timeout over and done with as quick as possible too.
For those of you who are not keeping an eye on our other streamed game, the other mixed semi-final between Latvia Salaspils and Finland's Puti, it is 10-all, but Salaspils have the disc with a chance to break to take an 11-10 lead.
So very tight over there. We'd understand if you're migrating over to the other stream.
But you may as well wait the minute or so until maybe GRUT can put this one on ice.
You never know what action you'll miss, especially when GRUT are the ones with the disc.
Yeah, I mean, GRUT and Flow, there are scarcely two more exciting teams, although Salaspils might be one of them, as they get a blade to the back of the end zone to break for 11-10.
And there's another look at that brilliant layout catch by Isamanko. So we've had some enjoyable highlights from the game, in spite of the conditions. Really great towing the line by Urt. Nedzi.
Mossing being very vocal in the background of that shot.
And there was the greatest attempt by Payunk.
Yep.
That does feel familiar in the mouth.
It does, doesn't it? But then, the problem is, it's been 2 years really since we've done this on a full-time basis again. It's weird.
Forgot how draining it could be, and do apologize for getting some of the pronunciations wrong. Really grateful for all the help from the chat and all the involvement and engagement that we're getting from the viewers at home. It means so much to us that you guys are out there and interested and appreciating what we're doing.
And that's how we learn, by getting by having people, you know, correct us and using that as an opportunity to get better.
So Valentin, a lot of the GRUT side using this as an opportunity to get better, as well as sort of a final trial for what's going to be the final selection of their world's team. A lot of people making really compelling cases. Vandenbrink settles that into the middle. Dam, very much the defensive leader. Schaap. We know he can boost them if he wants to, but right now just playing conservative. I think they're hoping to just carry this out with some nice, steady play. And then he shoots it straight to the end zone, telling you what I know, and it drops out of the sky a bit too early.
Well, maybe they should have gone back to that nice, steady play.
That's not GRUT's way, though. We're talking.
No, we know.
You're not going to finish the way you didn't open. You're going to go wild. Throw some stuff. Hopefully we'll see flow. Maybe show off some of that pizzazz. We've seen sparks of it. They just weren't really able to catch fire in this downpour.
Yeah, some pizzazz, some razzmatazz. I would like to see it.
Nedzi. Boach goes for the huck, and that was going down from the moment it left his hand.
Got that one all wrong, and he knows it.
And that one's going up the whole time. Nedzi trying to get in there amongst Morrison. Good pressure, but Morrison's able to come down with the disc. Takes his time, gets it to Valentin. Beautiful flowing throw, and this is very impressive. Wilhelm.
Pick, I think, in the stack downfield.
You see Valentin calling to the sideline to lift their voices, get involved. One more point, and we're in the final, ready to fight for that glory that Salaspils took from us last time. Willem. A nice, easy swing to Lola Dam. Lots of options in front of her in the end zone. Goes to the pop to Valentin. And Lola Dam, just a cheat code on the front of the end zone. Gets the score. I mean, where else was it going to go? Brilliant stuff.
And that is a place in the finals, sewing up for GRUT.
15-6, done consummately, professionally, confidently. Commiserations to Flo. They fought so hard to get here. They had some really wonderful performances throughout the last 3 days. Had some really nice moments in this game, but in the end, when you've got Lola Dam on the front of the end zone, you could be a cheetah. You're not going to be able to keep her in one place. You're not going to be able to catch her.
It's a tough matchup, isn't it? We said this earlier. It is a very, very tough matchup, and when you've got players now who are so proficient at breaking the force, you know, unless you get a bracket on there, you're it's unlikely that you'll come out the better of that. And this team's, you know, line up, slap hands. That's going to do it for us here on pitch 2 for day 3 of xEUCF.
Thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure for this coverage. Even if we did complain about the rain quite a lot, we chose to be here, and we'd much rather be here than sitting at home and not getting to enjoy some top quality Ultimate. It's fantastic to be out in this environment, and we've got 3 finals still to come tomorrow.
Baby.
We've got the open final between Clapham and Cusp.
Yep.
We've got the women's final
between Shout and Yaka.
Going to be 2 titanic struggles there, and then we've got the mixed final that will be between GRUT and the winner of Putti and Salaspils, which you can jump on over to our other stream and watch the very nail-biting end to that game. Is it still developing the current score, Benj?
Last I saw, it was 11-10 to Salaspils.
So it's a very close affair, and we hope you'll keep us close to your hearts and come back tomorrow for the finals. I have been Lorcan Murray.
I have been Benji Reese, and we'll see you on the other side for finals day.
Finals day!
Bruges.
ULTI.TV